Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So earlier this week, I shared that MAGA was melting down. They're on the verge of a civil war because of a rift between the elitists in their organization or in their coalition and the anti-immigrant factions within MAGA. And I remembered this article that was published by the Guardian news outlet. This was just prior to this whole battle kicking off. So the Guardian had reported that one of Trump's major donors regularly used Mexican immigrants to perform work at their company. This is all the while these same people are railing against illegal immigration. So the company is Uline, which if you live in the US, you're familiar with this company. And it's owned by billionaires Liz and Dick Uihlein. Which is spelled different than the company name, but I believe that's how you pronounce it. So this couple, according to The Guardian, was the second largest political donor in the 2024 election, not just of Donald Trump, like across the board. And they donated more money to anti-immigration Republicans than even Elon Musk. And during the presidential election, Dick Uihlein, he has a super PAC, and that super PAC ran TV ads slamming Kamala Harris for allowing a quote unquote invasion at the US border. But as with other Trump loving billionaires, they're complete and total hypocrites because the Guardian's investigation showed that Uline launched a program called Shuttle Support. So this was approximately 3 years ago that this whole thing launched, and based on sources that have direct knowledge about this program, they said Uline, quote, shuttles in its own workers from Mexico who are using tourist visas and visas meant for employees who are entering the US temporarily to receive professional training, known as B1 visas. But instead of being part of a dedicated training program, the Mexican employees stay for 1 to 6 months and perform normal work in Uline's US warehouses. So essentially, these B1 visas are supposed to be used for short-term stays. And they're only for training purposes, for someone to come to the US, receive training, and then go back to their country of origin to perform the work. Also, these are Uline employees already, but these are people from Mexico. These are Mexican residents. And so that's what these people are instructed to tell Border Patrol officials, that, oh, we're just here to receive training. But in reality, they're working jobs that, you know, according to the Ulines and their fellow MAGA supporters, jobs that should be going to American workers. And so the Guardian confirmed all of this over the course of an investigation. They said they investigated for months. So through company sources, they were able to obtain internal company documents, and they saw these documents referred to quote unquote shuttle support, this specific program. And it said, quote, including rules for family members and other guests who are allowed to visit the workers. And Guardian reporters went to a local hotel. This is in Wisconsin. So this is where these undocumented workers are staying in that particular state. But this is going on in other areas in the country at their other facilities. So they went to this hotel. These people are staying there on the company dime. And the Guardian wrote, quote, Guardian reporters also observed a dozen Uline workers from Mexico living in a hotel near the company's Pleasant Prairie headquarters, where the company pays for their lodging, food, and rental cars. A staff member at the hotel confirmed that Uline was among the first customers at the hotel to book blocks of suites for workers when the hotel opened about 3 years ago. And the sources told The Guardian that Uline sends these people's wages directly to their Mexican bank accounts. they're paid, which was also confirmed, far less than their US counterparts. And think about it. They must be. I mean, if they're paying for their hotel, they're paying for a suite, which basically, I mean, it's not like some high digit hotel or anything, but it does have like a little kitchenette and everything meant for people who are staying longer than just over the weekend or something. So they're paying for their hotel, they're paying for their food, they're paying for their travel. You know that they must be undercutting them on their actual pay for their work. And Mr. and Mrs. Uihlein cannot feign ignorance about this program because inside sources confirmed that high-level executives, including the Uihleins, all had full knowledge of this shuttle support program. In fact, one of the internal documents that The Guardian got a hold of shows that a Uihlein senior executive is the one who asked for this program. He requested this program to help them staff their Pleasant Prairie, Wisconsin headquarters. So immigration experts told The Guardian what Uihlein is doing here is very likely illegal. But, herein lies the problem when you have money in politics, right? Because Donald Trump can talk a big game when it comes to immigration. Do any of us think for a second that he's going to bust one of his top donors for importing illegal workers? And it's not as if Uihlein is desperate and, oh gosh, we're barely getting by, we're going to go out of business. This company made $8 billion in 2024. They made $7 billion in 2023. They can afford to pay American workers a fair wage. But again, just like with Elon, just like with his H-1B visa issue, that would not allow them to line their pockets, right? They can't possibly buy a dozen extra vacation homes and bribe politicians if they're paying American workers a fair wage. And this is exactly why people like the Uihleins, they look the other way. They support vile candidates. The Guardian pointed out this couple was the top donor for Republican Roy Moore when he was running for the Senate. You guys will remember Roy Moore. I mean, this is a guy who was accused of sexually assaulting numerous women, including underage girls. And they supported him even after all of that came out. They continued to run ads supporting him after that. So it seems to me, wealthy donors want less than ethical politicians in office. They seem to prefer that type of candidate because what's better than someone who lacks morals, right? And someone who lacks a conscience. They're easily corruptible. And, it could be that they even can control them with blackmail. I mean, I'm not saying that is exactly what is happening, but I wouldn't be shocked to find that that's why. Would you? And for everybody, for all the MAGA people, and I bring this up because I saw some comments after my last segment about Elon Musk and how he kicked a bunch of people to the curb. He fired a bunch of US workers and then brought in H-1B visa holders for absolutely no reason. People are saying, on the MAGA side, well, the Democrats do it too. Democrats have billionaire donors and they take money from wealthy people and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. You know what, though? You, MAGA, said Trump was different. You said Trump was going to drain the swamp. Explain to me how he's going to do that when he is no different. That's the issue. Because yes, Democrats do that, and they do. Anyway, get a little distracted. The issue is, progressives like me, this is why we want corporate Democrats out. This is why we don't support all of the establishment Democrats. This is why we support people who have vowed who refuse to take corporate money. People like Bernie Sanders, people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and all of the other Justice Democrats and true progressives in the caucus. Not the ones that are just, in the progressive, sub-caucus in the House and pretend to be progressives while they're taking corporate money and doing the bidding of their corporate donors. But you all support Donald Trump. You all supported Elon Musk, and they're no different than the corporate Democrats, the establishment Democrats, and the establishment Republicans that you all claim to hate. So why are you supporting him? Why? I mean, really, the only people who are truly going to drain the swamp, the only people who are walking the walk are progressives. So I don't know why you don't support the progressives in the House or in government. Makes no sense. I mean, and this comes back to why we say, well, you must just dislike Black and brown people because that seems to be your main issue, and why you support him, because he is no different. If he was, I would be the first one to say it. I would be one of the first people to back him if he was different, and if he didn't take corporate money, and if he didn't do the bidding of his corporate donors. But he is not, based on evidence. And the fact that he has now come out multiple times and said, yes, I support H-1B visas, and I think we should invite more immigrants into the country, more legal immigrants, which I personally don't have a problem with as long as they're not exploited by the employers. That is my only issue with the H-1B visas. Other than that, I don't have a problem with immigrants. And I do want workers to have fair wages. And by them bringing in H-1B visa holders and then, making them work for slave wages and exorbitant amount of hours and overtime and threatening them with being deported if they get fired, if they disagree with that and refuse to do it, it suppresses the wages of the American workers. So those are the issues I have with it. But anyway, so I will let you all know when I hear more about the hypocrisy from the swamp that was supposed to be drained the first time around, that's supposed to be drained now again, that seems to be just backing up in the sink. All right. Thanks again. Please please share so everyone knows about all of this that's being hidden by the mainstream media, because, they're also funded by those same billionaires and the swamp. And please subscribe if you have not. If you can donate, truly appreciate it. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.